You don't need medication. You need meditation. But meditation isn't only sitting in a cross-legged lotus position while closing your eyes and breathing. There's many different ways to meditate. But if I were to tell you that you can heal your depression through meditation, would you believe me? Or the question I actually should ask is, would you believe in yourself? You have the power to change it. Check this video to find out how. But before I start with the video, intro. What is good and what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy, the multi-dimensional trainer, the MDT, where I help you multi-dimensionally level up. Welcome back. Yeah, that's something new that I'm trying out. MDT. Let me know in the comments how you're finding that. Let me know. So as all of you beautiful souls know, this channel is about helping you improve both physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So in this video, I'm not going to be doing a tutorial on an exercise. I'll be doing a tutorial on how to heal your depression. So this will be working more on the emotional and on the mental plane, and then as a result, the spiritual will be in more of a balance anyway. And there is some physical as well, to be honest. It does work on all of them, but it starts with the mental and the emotional here. I am by no means a medical professional, and the information that I'll be sharing in this will not be aligned with what medical science has to say. The source of the information that I will be providing you with is the Ayurveda. And the Ayurveda, it's a ancient, divine, massive knowledge, and it aims to bring balance into your life and as a result heal you from your issues. The Ayurveda, it pretty much explains that depression is a result of being out of balance, right? And when you are within balance, you will not experience depression, which is why the Ayurveda aims to bring balance into your life, because when you're in balance, or like spiritual equilibrium, you won't experience depression, you won't experience anxiety. You'll be able to easily solve your problems because you're in this balanced state. You're not feeling turbulence and things like that. There are different types of depression, right? And to heal your depression, you need to understand what type of depression you have, because dependent on the type of depression you have, you would use a different healing modality or change your life in a certain different way to heal your specific depression. And to identify the type of depression you have, you need to understand the Gunas, right? The Gunas. So what are the Gunas exactly? The word Guna, right? In its direct translation, it means what binds. What binds, and it also means strand. So there are three Gunas, and they're known to be the binding of life. The binding of certain energies. So the Gunas are energies, right? And they are energies that bind creation with itself. So you have creation, and then you have the three Gunas. All objects contain the three Gunas, obviously in different proportions and ratios within every different object, right? So the three Gunas, right, they are Sattva, Rajas, and tamas. And the three gunas each carry qualities of their own, right? So I will describe to you the qualities of each guna, right? So first we have sattva, right? So the qualities of sattva, it has stability, it's harmonious, and it has virtue, right? It has light, it's luminous in nature. Sattva brings happiness and is the principle of intelligence and clarity, right? So sattva basically describes balance, and the goal or the aim of the Ayurveda is to increase the amount of balance in your life. Because remember, the depression is a result of being out of balance. So when you're in balance, you will not experience depression. Rajas is the quality of turbulence or action, right? It possesses the quality of motion, right? And it is the principle of energy, right? So Rajas is movement. Rajas is movement, and that's basically what it is. Tamas, now, tamas is the quality of dullness, darkness, and inertia. So for those of you who don't know, the definition of inertia, it's a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. So stagnation would be its synonym, right? So tamas is said to be heavy and obstructing. So you have sattva, which is being in harmonious balance. You have rajas, which is the quality of turbulence and action, so movement, energy. Then you have tamas, which is the quality of lack of movement, inertia, dullness, and darkness. But now that we know what the three gunas are, they can also be used to explain someone's mental nature, how someone is, how they think, where they are in their life, which guna that they are situated in, right? So obviously if you are within sattva, you're balanced, you're not experiencing depression, or if depression comes, you know how to easily work through it. Then you have someone who can be in rajas, and then obviously someone who can be in tamas, right? So I'll explain what these type of people do now, right? So we know what the gunas are. Now let's see how they relate to how you would class someone as. So you have sattvic people. So sattvic people possess a harmonious and adaptable nature, which gives the greatest freedom from both physical and mental disease. They strive toward balance, and they have a peace of mind that cuts off the psychological root of all disease. They are considerate of others, and they take care of themselves. They see all life as a learning experience and look for the good in all things. You then have rajasic people. So rajasic people, they have good energy, right? But they burn themselves out. And they burn themselves out because they have good energy. They usually use their energy in excess until they have nothing left. Their minds are usually agitated and seldom at peace. They have very strong opinions, and they seek power over others. Because obviously as a result they don't have peace within themselves. They're inconsistent in dealing with their problems, and they don't take the time nor the responsibility to get well. Then you have tamasic people, right? So tamasic people are dull and slothful in energy. They have deep-seated psychological blockages. They don't know what their problems are. They have poor hygiene, poor self-care, and they accept their condition as fate. So when a horrible situation happens to them, they won't try to change it. Because remember, tamas is that dull, inertic type energy. And they won't take methods or use advantage of the methods that will help. They allow other people as well as their negative influences to dominate them. I just explained how the gunas relate to people, So knowing which one resonates with you is really important. And the reasoning for this is, if you okay, so remember the goal is to get to sattva, right? So if you're feeling that you're more of a rajasic person, you wouldn't do what a tamasic person would do to heal your depression. And if you are a tamasic person, you wouldn't do what a rajasic person would do to get to sattva. So remember, all of us are trying to hit to sattva, because that's when we don't experience depression. That's when we are harmonious. That's when being happy is easy. That's when we take care of others. We have good self-care habits. We see any problem, any and every problem, as a learning experience, because nothing's a bad experience, because if you're learning something, then it's good anyway. And now that we know how the gunas relate to people, now we're going to see how they relate to depression, right? So according to the Ayurveda, there are two types of depression, right? You have tamasic depression and you have rajasic depression. Okay, so talking tamasic depression, people who are experiencing tamasic depression, that depression will be described as, experiencing lots of fatigue. You feel lethargic. You feel hopelessness. There's a struggle to, let's say, do things. Feeling as if you can't get anywhere. Then even if you have an idea as to, let's say, how you're going to get out of a situation, you don't have the energy to actually fix it. Then rajasic depression. So rajasic depression, that depression is usually related to agitation, anxiety, and restlessness. So rajasic people with rajasic depression, they can get going, no problem, but they have a problem slowing down. And the reasoning for this could be the fact that, let's say they have certain problems, and then they avoid their problems by, let's say, doing activity, which isn't a bad thing, right? Which isn't a bad thing at all. But obviously now, if you're reliant on this activity, right? Let's say someone who's a workaholic, they are really addicted to their work because their work obviously helps them avoid their problems, and then when there's no work, then you aren't able to sit with them. This would be the person who's experiencing rajasic depression, someone who's anxious, someone who just can't generally stay still. Okay, so remember, earlier in this video, when I was telling you that it is very important that you know which depression you're experiencing. It's very important to know whether it's rajasic or if it's tamasic, right? And the reason that it's very important, so the Ayurveda, it encourages healing depression through lifestyle changes, right? Just changing your life so that you are in balance in your life, right? So now obviously you need to know where you stand in terms to get to balance, right? So sattva could be here, right? And then tamas is here, rajas is here. And if you're rajas, you need to move like this, right? If you're tamas, you need to move like this. Now, if you're tamas and then you use, let's say, tamasic methods to try to get to sattva, you're going to go more this way, right? If you're in rajas and you need to do more tamasic to get towards sattva now, but instead you do more rajasic things, you're going to get further out of balance, right? So it's very important to do this introspection, to sit with yourself, maybe even journal if you need to know which depression it is you're experiencing. Now remember, you could experience different depressions even throughout your day. It can change within a second. So I know personally, in the morning, I struggle with more tamasic. I have a certain lethargic energy, which is why for me exercising is really great in the morning. But then at night, I struggle falling asleep. So obviously this is more rajasic now. And then it would help for me to do more meditation or more of a slower yoga style. Maybe some yin yoga to slow down now. Because in the morning I'm in my tamas, so I need to add more rajas to get to sattva, to balance. And then at night I'm feeling more rajasic, so I need to add more tamas to get towards sattva. So if you're more on the Raja side, you need to add enough tamas to get to sattva. If you're on the more tamasic side, you need to add more rajas to get to sattva. Now let's talk how to bring balance, right? How to bring balance. Okay, so we know what the gunas are, we know how they relate to people, we know how they relate to depression, and we know how to use them to identify which depression we're experiencing. Right, so now we just need to figure out where we're going to bring this balance in our life. Where do we need balance and how do we need it? So let's say you're someone who experiences tamasic depression, so you feel hopeless, lethargic, fatigue. Then what the Ayurveda would recommend is that you first bring rajas into your life. So remember, rajas is energy, it's turbulence, it's action, right? So you need to bring more action into your life. So you could do this by simply taking more walks. You could start doing sun salutations. If you don't know how to do sun salutations, I've explained them in my video. A sun salutation is a sequence of poses. I've explained all the poses and the order of them as well. So if you don't know sun salutations, you can scroll through those videos quickly, as well as with the breathwork. So you could walk, you could do sun salutations, you could start jogging, maybe running, but something, just action, something that's physically strenuous, something that will require some physical effort from you. And once you've added this physical activity, then you would bring sattvic qualities into the activity, right? And sattvic qualities would be things like pranayama. Pranayama is breathwork. Or you could do something like a walking meditation. So let's say you are already walking, right? So let's say you've identified that you are experiencing tamasic depression, right? So now to heal this, what you've decided to do is to, let's say, do more daily walks, right? So when you're doing the walking, you've added the Raja's energy towards your tamasic depression, right? So now you've gotten the action, you've added the turbulence because you're experiencing inertic, lethargic type problems. Then on your walks now, what you would do is, let's say with a walking meditation, so you do something like you would breathe in for 6 steps, let's say. So you breathe in, you take 6 steps with your feet, you hold your breath for, let's say, 10 steps, and then you breathe out for 8. Right? This is something I used to do. So that would be an example of a walking meditation, right, or walking breathwork. Or you could practice mindfulness while you're walking. So while you're walking, you could just mention things you're grateful for. You could talk about how beautiful the present moment is. So looking outside, look how beautiful the clouds are, how beautiful the trees are. Be appreciative that the trees are giving you oxygen that you're breathing right now. You can be grateful that you're breathing out what the trees breathe in. So looking at the beauty that is creation, and how everything is so beautifully planned out. It is really beautiful when you really think about it. And then something else. So let's say you start doing yoga, right? So doing sun salutations, right? And then yoga has sattvic qualities in it as well, because the breath work is very important in yoga. If you don't do breath work, you're not doing yoga. You're either just doing calisthenics or you're just doing like normal stretching, right? The breath work is what makes the big difference. And then putting in the breath work and then the meditation afterwards, that would be bringing the sattvic energies, right? And then the balanced energies. And obviously once you're within balance, then you will be healed from your depression. If you're a tamasic person, that's how you would do it. If you're a rajasic person, then what you would do is add more tamas, right? So you would need to add more inertic type things, more stillness, right? So if you're struggling with things like anxiety, or restlessness, agitation, then I would recommend something like meditation, right? Where you learn how to be still, because that's obviously what you need in your life. But I wouldn't recommend meditation to the person that's experiencing a tamasic depression, because that's adding more stillness, and the person experiencing tamasic doesn't need more stillness, they need turbulence, they need action. Whereas a person experiencing rajasic depression needs more stillness. They don't need to do more because they're already feeling burnt out with their life. Right, so now when it comes to the Ayurveda, these healing methods, it's not like taking a pill and then your problems are solved. It's changing your life, right? And the trick is now maintaining these habits, right? Maintaining these habits, and then once you've obviously maintained these habits, then you will be within sattva. We'll be within balance. When you're within balance, you won't experience your depression, and you will be healed, right? And you need the discipline and the willpower to maintain that healing vibration that you'll be in, right? Because if you stop doing these habits, then you will fall back into whichever depression you're experiencing, or if you're not aware enough. So let's say you were in your tamasic, right, the one that's lethargic, and you do more rajas to get to sattva, right? So let's say you balance, but then if you're not aware enough to know when you're overworking, you might find yourself in a rajasic depression now. You see, so it is very important to be aware of where you are, which is why introspection is very important. To ask yourself, how are you? And now that you know all this stuff about the gunas, see where you're falling in within the gunas. Okay, and now we're at the end of our video. So just to recap. Right, so how do you heal your depression? So we need to understand that depression is a result of being out of balance, right? And to heal the depression, we just simply need to get back into balance, right? So we need to understand that, right? Then we need to understand which type of depression we're experiencing. So remember, there's rajasic and there's tamasic, right? And it's very important to understand which one you're in. And if you're not experiencing depression and you're obviously within sattva, then just keep doing what you're doing, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. Then once you've identified which one you're experiencing, then you should employ healing modalities or just changing your habits in your life to get yourself towards balance, right? So if you have too much action, try to add more stillness. If you don't have enough action, put more action, and then add balancing sattvic qualities to that action, right? Because if you just go action, you'll get burnt out, and then you'll find yourself back at feeling nothing again. Let me know how you found this video. I found this information to be life-changing for myself. It's really helped me work through my problems, and I'm wanting all of you to know as well. Right, so as I said, this channel isn't just only for exercise. This channel is to make your life better, to improve your life on the physical, emotional, mental, and the spiritual. Right, we are leveling up. YouTube family. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and maybe share it with a friend. Maybe a friend of yours experiencing depression as well, and you found this information so helpful that you want them to get help too. But let's all get to sattva together. Peace, much love, namaste.